Well, hello. This is Austin Awkward, and I'm Adam. Hey, thank you so much for joining me on vlog number 2 of my 52-week awkward experience. I'm really glad that you could tune in either for the first time or come back. I know that this might not be everyone's cup of tea, so I'm really glad that you're part of it. This is going to be odd, but I didn't realize I was awkward. No. I know it's hard to believe that right now, but the truth is, for 30 plus years of my life, I lived in the Commonwealth of Virginia, which means that I had a network of family and friends I had built up over decades. And these folks, of course, they knew who I was. They had seen me grow up. They knew that I was a little odd, a little off, a little quirky, and they accepted that, and they loved me despite it. And when I did things that were kind of because of it, they just got over it, right? Well, then I moved a continent away to Spokane, Washington. Not only a continent away in its physical location, but also a continent away spiritually, right? It's a different kind of place. And when I got out here, I knew nothing about it. I was nearly a blank slate. And so when I met people as I moved out here, I didn't have much common ground. I really had no common ground with them. The only thing I could think of as a commonality with these folks I was meeting out here was that, hey, we both live in Spokane now. So what did I do? I made observations about Spokane. And unfortunately, because the only thing I really knew was places on the East Coast like Richmond, Virginia, I made comparisons between Spokane and Richmond. And the result is people came away thinking that I really loved Richmond, which I do, and maybe I didn't like Spokane so much, which wasn't the case. The truth was I just didn't know anything about Spokane. I didn't have any way of knowing anything about Spokane because I hadn't had the decades of experience they had with it. So, meeting people out here was a little difficult to begin with, right? I kind of didn't start off on the right foot. And then on top of that, I'm an awkward person. So I ended up being awkward. I couldn't, I'd find it really hard to be vulnerable, even when I met people who I thought were really interesting or cool. And I was like, man, I'd like to get to know this person. I'd like to hang out with them sometime. My awkwardness put up a wall 10 miles thick. It was awful. And these individuals thought I was just this really strange person who didn't think much about Spokane. That wasn't the case, but I got in my own way. So it took me about 12 months to figure all this out, right? It took me 12 months to figure out that, hey, I should probably stop telling people how awesome Richmond is, and then said, just try to find awesome things I like about Spokane, which there are a number of them. I am not going to be able to name them right now, but there are a number of things I like about Spokane. And so that was kind of the start. The second part of that is being vulnerable. How do you do that? Do you make yourself vulnerable to make connections with folks? It's even more awkward when you think about the fact that a lot of the folks out here have their own network of family and friends. And so I'm asking to be, in my vulnerableness, I'm asking to be added to that list. And I know that's difficult. A lot of people don't have the bandwidth to add new people to their list of family and friends. And so it's still a work in progress, but I'm slowly but surely rebuilding that network. And hopefully, 18 months in now, hopefully 2 years, 3 years in, I'll be able to say I have a strong network. I'll be able to give you a list of all the things I love about Spokane. And when someone says something about Richmond, I won't automatically say it's the greatest city in the world and the capital of the Commonwealth or anything like that. Probably that won't be the case. I will probably still do that. But that's okay. We're all from somewhere, and it's okay to love where you're from, right? So that's where I'm at now. That's how I learned I was awkward, and that's how I'm trying to move past it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me again today. I look forward to getting to chat with you again real soon.